49 shall be waived for the following items, Roman numeral 6C 1, 2, and 3, and D1. Okay, that's just a notice. With that said, I'll call on Trustee Ahuna. We are now on Roman numeral, oh no, let's stick to B first, yeah.
B first.
We gotta go
Bravo,
B.
B, Bravo.
B, yeah, B. We're waiting for Sylvia.
She's just batting through the pages.
Okay. Let's
She
go
doesn't
to
have
C1.
to right now, right?
Go out of order.
Okay, let's move on to Roman numeral 6C. Item 1, Trustee Ahuna, 1, 2, and 3. Welcome.
Madam Chair, the Committee on Resource Management, having met on November 20th, 2019, after full and free discussion, recommends approval of the following actions to the Board of Trustees. To approve administration's recommendations that the BOT approve the reimbursement agreement between State Street Bank and OHA and authorize the interim chief executive officer to execute the confidential settlement and release agreement attached here as attachment F.
Trustee Bobby Lindsay.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote, please, to ratify.
Trustee Abuelisa?
Aye.
Trustee Ahuna?
Yes.
Trustee Akaka?
Aye.
Trustee Akina?
Aye.
Trustee Lee?
Aye.
Trustee Carmen Lindsay?
Aye.
Trustee Robert Lindsay?
Yes.
Trustee Wahehe?
Yes.
Chairperson Machado?
Yes.
9 yes votes, motion passes.
Trustee Ahuna.
Madam Chair, the Committee on Resource Management, having met on November 20th, 2019, after full and free discussion, recommends approval of the following actions to the Board of Trustees. To approve administration's recommendations that the BOT approve and authorize for investment consultant Siegel Marco Advisors to begin a search for an active core fixed income manager.
Trustee Bobby Lindsay.
I second the motion.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Trustee Abuelisa?
Aye.
Trustee Ahuna?
Aye.
Trustee Akaka?
Aye.
Trustee Akina?
Aye.
Trustee Lee?
Aye.
Trustee Carmen Lindsay?
Aye.
Trustee Robert Lindsay?
Aye.
Trustee Wahehe?
Yes.
Chairperson Machado?
Yes.
9 yes votes, motion passes.
Trustee Ahuna, RM 19-20.
Madam Chair, the Committee on Resource Management, having met on November 20th, 2019, after full and free discussion, recommends approval of the following actions to the Board of Trustees. To approve administration's recommendation that the BOT approve the non-OHA executive manager selection and seating process for Hi'ile Aloha LLC and revise LLC manager's position description.
Trustee Bobby, Trustee Wahehe seconds. Okay, any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Trustee Abuelisa?
Aye.
Trustee Ahuna?
Aye.
Trustee Akaka?
Aye.
Trustee Akina?
Aye.
Trustee Lee?
Aye.
Trustee Carmen Lindsay?
Aye.
Trustee Robert Lindsay?
Aye.
Trustee Wahehe?
Yes.
Chairperson Machado?
Yes.
9 yes votes, motion passes.
It's a D2.
Okay, members, we will now go to Roman numeral 6D1. Trustee Ahuna.
Sorry. Working hard. Madam Chair, the Committee on Beneficiary Advocacy and Empowerment and Committee on Resource Management, having met on November 20th, 2019, and after full and free discussion, recommends approval of the following actions to the Board of Trustees. To approve and authorize the disbursement $830,000 from the fiscal year 2020 core operating budget, object code 56530, and $830,000 from the fiscal year 2021 core operating budget, object code 56530, to fund the emergency financial assistance grant to CNHA.
Is there a second? Trustee Robert Lindsay.
I second the motion.
Okay, roll call vote.
Trustee Abuelisa?
Aye.
Trustee Ahuna?
Yes.
Trustee Akaka?
Aye.
Trustee Akina?
Aye.
Trustee Lee?
Aye.
Trustee Carmen Lindsay?
Aye.
Trustee Robert Lindsay?
Aye.
Trustee Wahehe?
Yes.
Chairperson Machado?
Yes.
9 yes votes, motion passes.
Okay, members, we need to go back to Roman numeral 6B, which is the selection of the OHA Chief Executive Officer. I would like to read this statement. The Office of Hawaiian Affairs Board of Trustees is proud to announce that Sylvia M. Hussey, ED, it's an education doctorate, was selected for the position of OHA Chief Executive Officer. Dr. Hussey will earn an initial annual salary of $170,000 for a term of 5 years commencing on December 1st, 2019. Dr. Hussey brings more than 30 years of experience in education administration, policy development and implementation, finance operations, and information technology. She served in leadership positions at various institutions throughout the state, most recently as the Executive Director of the Native Hawaiian Education Council, and previously was with Women's Schools for more than a decade, where she was the Vice President of Administration. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, we congratulate you, Sylvia, and mahalo you for embarking on this journey to strengthen and empower our Lahui. Trustees, feel free to say or make your own personal comments to Sylvia. We also have a lei to present to you. Trustee Kaliana, could you present that to the Vice Chair to our...
I speak in favor of the motion. Chair, can I speak?
Yes. Trustee Leahu Isa?
I am so happy we selected her. She is so qualified. She comes from a very distinguished career as a doctor and a CPA, certified CPA. And we are very fortunate to have her.
Thank you, Leahu Isa. Any other trustees would like to offer some comments on the record? Trustee Ahuna?
I just wanted to say congratulations, and I look forward to working with you as the art chair. Thank you so much.
Trustee Bobby Lindsay?
Hello, Sylvia. You make Kohala proud.
Trustee Kalea Kaka?
Mahalo, our new CEO. I genuinely look forward to moving together in this journey, and I truly appreciate your ha'aha'o and olu style in doing things. Mahalo. And congratulations.
Trustee Kili Akina?
Sylvia, Dr. Hussey, congratulations. Welcome to your seat of leadership. We're looking forward to great things for the future of OHA through your leadership. Much aloha and mahalo.
Trustee John Wahedi the fourth?
Thank you. Congratulations, Sylvia. And I want to let you know that I've really enjoyed working with you as interim CEO. So I really look forward to more of this kind of good relationship. Thank you.
Vice Chair Kaliaina Lee?
Congratulations, Sylvia. I know I whispered this to you, but it's appropriate, so I'll say it out loud. Good luck.
Sylvia, we thank you for your promise that you will work with all 9 trustees, also your promise to build up our Lahui and to service them at the best of your abilities. And you have committed yourself in the short term that you have served as the interim CEO. It was a unanimous decision on supporting you as our new permanent Chief Executive Officer. And thank you again for your aloha. Mahalo, Sylvia. How can I forget Trustee Hulu Lindsay? I apologize. Yes, Hulu, go ahead.
I just want to congratulate you, Sylvia. I feel in my na'au that you're highly qualified, and I believe that you've been sent to us from Akua. So I look forward to working with you and moving OHA forward, especially for our beneficiaries. Mahalo.
Trustees, thank you very much. Just thank you. There's so much, in my heart, and I think echoing all that you said to move forward our Lahui, because our beneficiaries and our Lahui deserve that. And I'm, in the last 6 months, have been very appreciative of the working relationship, and for as many things as people have said about OHA and OHA trustees and the organization, what I have learned is that our people and have such great hearts. And I'm so honored, really, and blessed to be able to be working with not only the leadership, but also our people in our organization and on behalf of our Lahui. So Thank you very much. It's a great responsibility, but I feel very supported by all around the table as well as our ohana. So thank you again for entrusting me with this kuleana. And now it's, you got to owa mo the kuleana. So thank you.
Okay, members, we have one more business to conduct, and it's on Roman numeral 6E, which is the deliberation and decision making on the report.
Madam Chair,
Committee report.
I don't know if there's anyone else in the room that brought any makana or anything to congratulate our CEO.
Okay.
So can we go into a short recess?
At the request of the vice chair, we will go into a brief recess to honor our permanent CEO. We stand at recess. You get my trustees, we are now reconvened. I'd like to move to Roman numeral 6E, and I'll call on trustee Kaleaina. If there's further discussion on the report of the PIG regarding the investigative complaint against a trustee allegedly violations of trustee code of conduct.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So all the trustees have had the report from the permitted interaction group for several weeks now. As was requested at the presenting of the report, I will yield to Trustee Aquino because I believe he had things that he wanted to say regarding the report.
Madam Chair,
Trustee Aquino.
thank you very much, and thank you, Trustee Lee. Fellow trustees, I want to thank you for the opportunity to address the Permitted Interaction Group report concerning complaints made against me for alleged violations of the Trustee Code of Conduct. At the outset, I want to thank the members of the PIG committee for their time and for their work. I hold you all, trustees of the board, in the highest esteem. And I am grateful that we are colleagues who want to do the very best for our Hawaiian beneficiaries and for the Office of the Hawaiian Affairs. It's in that spirit that I want to address a concern I have with the report. And I believe that many of you might also share the same concern as I explain it. The report you have issued states your official finding that there is no recourse to discipline me. However, the language of the report has a sentence that goes beyond this official finding. It says, quote, after reviewing the complaint against Trustee Aquino, the PIG finds that Trustee Aquino made misleading and untrue statements with regard to the CLA audit, end of quote. Now, this is a very serious allegation. It does not merely say that I had a different opinion about the CLA audit, or a different belief, or that I criticized the board. It declares that I have committed wrongdoing. Moreover, it's in the form of an official pronouncement by OHA trustees, not just the opinion of individuals. Please note the following two facts about this declaration. First, it has been made public. Last week, the committee announced this finding at the board in open session. Secondly, this finding has been declared final. The committee announced that it considers the matter to be closed. Now, the problem with making a public declaration about my character and then closing the matter is this. I was never asked or allowed to appear before the committee to be questioned or to give my point of view. Whatever conclusions the committee came to, they did so without ever having heard my explanation or defense. In addition, I have never been told what specific statements of mine the committee considers to be misleading or untrue. So even if I wanted to explain or defend my comments before the board or public, I cannot do so because I have never been told what the specifics are. The bottom line is this, that a committee of trustees met behind closed doors, made a judgment about me, announced that judgment publicly, and declared the matter closed. My fellow trustees, this is not how we should treat each other. While what has taken place certainly harms me and my reputation as a public official, it also harms the Office of Hawaiian Affairs and our beneficiaries. If we as a board receive this report from the PIG in its present form, we will seriously damage the credibility and reputation of OHA. Therefore, I urge the board to do what is pono. Listen to your na'a and your moral compass. No beneficiary or trustee should be judged without the opportunity to respond, then be subjected to a final public announcement that he has committed wrongdoing. The right thing to do is to strike the second sentence of the PIG report, which reads, quote, after reviewing the complaint against Trustee Aquino, the PIG finds that Trustee Aquino made misleading and untrue statements with regard to the CLA audit. Instead, Simply leave the other sentences so that the report will read as follows. The permitted interaction group met on September 27, 2019. Given that the BOT has no recourse for disciplinary action against the trustee at this time, the PIG considers the matter closed. I respectfully urge you to make the amendment to the PIG report. It is the right thing to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, trustee Aquino.
Chair,
I believe I still have.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to, because trustee Kaleaina, as the PIG chair, was not complete with his presentation. Trustee Aquino, trustee Kaleaina Lee.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Trustee Aquino, was that a motion?
Am I allowed to make that motion? If so, I'll make it and I'll ask for a second.
So Trustee Aquino has moved to so amend the committee report of the PIG.
Chair, I can repeat that for you if you like.
Please do. Can we get somebody to type the new motion that was?
So I am suggesting that we...
Lapaka, can you help with the motion on the board?
I'm suggesting that we strike the second sentence of the PIG report, the one that reads, after reviewing the complaint against Trustee Aquino, the PIG finds that Trustee Aquino made misleading and untrue statements with regard to the CLA audit. Strike that out, and instead, simply leave the other sentences so that the report will read as follows. The permitted interaction group met on September 27, 2019. Given that the BOT has no recourse for disciplinary action against the trustee at this time, the PIG considers this matter closed. I make this motion and seek a second from another member.
Second.
Okay, so
Trustee, can you take a look at the motion if that's an accurate reflection of what you just read to
It
the
is.
record?
I think they're still working on it.
no, they have
Okay,
it.
that's good.
Met on September 25.
Okay, so members, Trustee Aquino has moved to amend the report of the permitted interaction group, and it was seconded by Trustee Waihe'e. Is there is there discussion on this?
yes.
Trustee Lena,
I have the chair, Madam Chair.
Okay, go ahead.
Trustee Leao Isa.
I wrote it down. I am disputing what you said because I felt that you did, I don't want to use the word lie, but you were not the only one that voted the extension. Okay, we were given the option. We were not given the option for another choice. It was either vote to extend the CLA contract after they did not receive all the LLC documents, or the other option was to not extend it. Extend or not extend. I voted to extend only because what other choice? I didn't want to vote no, because if we didn't extend it, they couldn't have finished it. They were right in the middle, they couldn't have finished. We extended it to December. That was the vote. And then it came out on Facebook, and I remember you text me saying, take the thing off Facebook when I said you lied, because I also didn't want to extend it, but that was the only option I had. I didn't want to extend it, and here I'm being accused of delaying this thing, and you're the only one that wanted to keep it going. That's not true, because I wanted to keep it going, but they didn't have the documents. It was either to extend it or forget this whole audit. I wrote a letter to the Star Advertiser. They wouldn't publish my letter to the editor. I wrote to Hawaii Free Press. They wouldn't publish my letter. I said, I was also against, extending the thing, but what other option? Because they didn't have the documents. But nobody listens to me. They print all your stuff. They put you on the front page because it makes news. I'm sorry, Star Advertiser, Dennis Francis, but thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you, Leao Isa.
Trustee
Trustee Aquino.
Lee, may I respond?
Sure.
Thank you. Trustee Lay, first of all, thank you for sharing your feelings. And I'd be more than glad to discuss this with you further. But I am not addressing the issue that you raised. All I am talking about is the way the PIG operated. I wasn't even given the opportunity to know what specific complaint was being made.
You said you were the
I
only
still
one.
I still don't know that even the things that you've said were looked at by the PIG. For its report was made,
on the committee.
and I wasn't interviewed, and it's closed. So I look forward to discussing this matter with you further, but that's not what I'm addressing today in my comments. My concerns are that the PIG failed to follow failed to follow a good process in this whole affair.
Okay, Kalawai.
Trustee Aquino, I do not believe that you are speaking to what Trustee Leahuisa was speaking to. Trustee Ahuisa was speaking specifically to statements that you made in a post that was given to you in the formal complaint. So that does speak directly to this amendment.
Trustee Lee, I was given a packet that contained many materials, a news release I had put out, media presentation, Facebook, and so forth. I was never told what specifically was being referred to or examined by the committee, what was wrong, what was found to be misleading or false, and so forth. So I'm not prepared today to address those in specific, and I also believe it would not be appropriate to bring it before the board at this time.
And I'm going to
Committee has
respectfully
closed.
Disagree, Trustee Aquino, because those are the specific reasons why the permitted interaction group was formed. But is there anybody else that has discussion on the amendment?
Well, the question, I just have a question for you regarding misleading and statements that you have said. Is it true that you said that the OHA is holding up the CLA audit?
I would be very glad to take a look at any document or statement that I made that the committee looked at. But
Trustee
off the
Aquino,
top-
is it true
off the top
that you
of my
said
head-
OHA is delaying the CLA
Off the
audit?
top of my head, I don't remember, but I'm very glad to take a look at any of the information that was really looked at by the
Okay.
committee. Oh, Trustee Lee.
May I finish?
Yes.
Thank you. The reason why I say this
Well,
is,
hang on, Trustee Homona. Are you speaking in favor or against the amendment?
oh, wait, no, I'm speaking against.
Okay, go continue.
I cannot support the amendment because for me, I am the RM chair now, and I have taken some hits with statements that have been said. The latest one was OHA is holding up the CLA audit, and that really hurts me. There are other concerns that the RM chair has all the control over the CLA audit. He's getting all the information. But I want you to know this. You were the advisor to that audit committee, and you guys set those terms of the contract. You never, ever thought that I would become the chair today, and now it's me. Okay, last week, you said misleading statements. This is what I'm talking about. This is what this whole thing is about. Okay, these are inaccurate statements. And these statements are things that really hurt, not just us at the table, but our entire community. And I'm glad we're here to address these issues, because it is important. Thank you.
Trustee Lee, may I respond?
Sure.
Trustee Ahuna, I have not made any inaccurate, false, or misleading statements with any intention to deceive whatsoever. I've spoken truthfully about the audit process. I did not specifically make the claims that you say I made. I have, however, been very honest that from the beginning of this process, long before CLA was involved, too much time has been spent on going forward. I've been very honest about that. I've raised questions as to why that is the case. But the point I'm making today is not about specific statements that I've made. I'm not defending myself because I would need more resources. I need to be able to be told specifically what statement it was and where it was made. What I'm pointing out is that a committee met behind closed doors, came to the conclusion that I had made false and misleading statements and never interviewed me and never told me what those statements are. And that, I believe, is an injustice. That's something that we need to correct. That's why I made the amendment, and although we may have differences of opinion, I urge you to vote for the amendment.
So, thank you for saying that. And with all due respect, I just want to give you some background. as the RM chair, you mentioned that you wanted more transparency and accountability. And I just want to just say thank you to my staff, for working so hard. My staff is the one behind all of this. But I wanted to just mention some key facts. In 2015, there were 6 RM committee meetings. In 2016, there were 15. In 2017, there's 26. In 2018, there was 19. In 2019, there was 32. Now, you talk about transparency and accountability. And that was my whole goal, to be transparent and accountable to all of you, to make sure that all of you have a voice. But the voices coming out wasn't coming out right. And this is what we're talking about. Okay, we're talking about misleading, saying things outside of what we're trying to do here. And you know what we're doing here. You know, because you're involved in these 32 meetings. But I'm just wanting to speak on facts. I'm not here to, just go off on one person. But that's the facts. Thank you.
Is there anybody else that'd like to make comments about the amendment? Okay, in that case, the chair of the PIG would like to speak against the amendment that's proposed to the board. And I have my reasons. First of all, striking that language for the reasons that Trustee Aquino stated. Trustee Aquino, you stated that you were never given a copy, the specifics of the complaint. Is that true? That's what you
I was never given the specific, I was never told what statements I made were considered to be false and misleading. I've never been told what statements I
So
have
in
made.
a packet given to the entire board of trustees, including Trustee Aquino, that we all actually had to sign off on. So we all signed that we received that packet. Not only does it have the statements made by Trustee Aquino on April 19th, 2019 on Facebook, they're also subsequently used in a Hawaii Free Press article. And in the complaint, it specifically highlighted and said the statements that Trustee Aquino made, which were that.
Trustee Lee, may I make a point
No,
of
you may
order?
not. I will give
I'd
you
like to
I will
call
give you
upon-
a chance to rebut Trustee Aquino, but I have the floor right now.
I'm not rebutting you, I'm making a point of order. I call upon the chair of the committee.
I recognize your point of order.
I want to caution you, Trustee Lee, not to introduce information today that has not been included in the official report. And here's why. Sunshine Law requires and focuses on the public's ability to provide meaningful testimony so that there should not be significant additional information presented in this discussion that is not included in the report. That would deprive the public from the opportunity to provide testimony. And I relay this as counsel we received from an attorney in the OIP, Jennifer Brooks.
And Trustee Aquino, I appreciate you pointing that fact out to the chair of the Permitted Interaction Group. However, you brought this matter up, not the Permitted Interaction Group. By you stating on the record that you were not given any information as to what the complaint was for you, or that you were not given the specifics of the things that you said that were misleading and untrue, you brought this forward to the Board of Trustees, not the Permitted Interaction Group.
All I was saying, Trustee Lee.
Did you not say that, Trustee Aquino?
I did not say that as you.
You did
put it.
not say that? You
What
did not say.
What I did say, and I'll find it right here.
I'd be happy to have the board secretary read it back, Trustee Aquino. But you brought it to this table and you brought it to the Permitted Interaction Group that you were not given the specifics of what you said that were misleading and untrue.
Let me read my statement again. In addition, I have never been told what specific statements of mine the committee considers to be misleading or untrue. So even if I wanted to explain or defend my comments before the board or public, I cannot do so because I have never been told what the specifics are. That's the
Correct.
truth. I have never been told that, and I'm not asking for that now because that should have become.
But you were
out
given
already.
that, Trustee Aquino.
No, I wasn't.
Yes, you were,
I was-
Trustee Aquino.
You are inaccurate, sir. I was given texts of documents and so forth that had many statements. They had dates, they had
So are
references.
those not the
I
items?
don't know if that's what you're referring to.
How would you not know that? That was the official complaint, Trustee Aquino?
The fact that I may be aware that you looked at my news release, or that you looked at a news article, or that you looked at some other source, or that you heard from witnesses, whatever it may be, never spells out exactly what statement I made that was false or misleading, or why it was false or misleading. So I don't even know what they are. That should have been included in the report if it was something you wanted to have discussed, so that the public could actually know, and so that I can know. Instead, you have just your committee made a judgment that I have made false and misleading statements and issued that report publicly.
Thank you for that clarification, Trustee Aquino. So are you asking the permitted interaction group to add into the report your specific statements?
I'm definitely not asking the report definitely not asking the committee to do that. I'm just pointing out the failure of the committee to follow a procedure that was
Correct. So if the
fair.
committee failed by not introducing those statements, are you then asking us to
Trustee Lee, you had your opportunity to do that, and that matter you have now declared closed. I'm pointing out that the harm is already involved.
Actually, Trustee Aquino, I have not declared anything closed. So let's be clear. I have not declared anything
I was
closed.
using the plural you. I was referring to the committee members.
Second of all, just because the permitted interaction group report says that they considered a matter closed, until this is accepted by and voted on the board, permitted interaction groups are able to be extended, as is the case with several permitted interaction groups that this body currently has extended. So are you asking this permitted interaction group to be extended to add those pieces to this to the report?
I'm not making any such request. What I am asking is that the
But you
board-
just said, Trustee
what I am
Aquino,
asking,
that we failed, so we can correct that.
what I am asking is that the board that the committee will strike that statement that says I made misleading and false, or misleading and untrue statements. That's all that I'm asking. That's very clear.
But what also is very clear, Trustee Aquino, is your reason, because you stated it. You stated your reason for this amendment is that you were not given the complaint, which we now know you were given the complaint. So now you're claiming that the complaint is not a part of the report. So the chairperson of the permitted interaction group is asking you, would you like us to extend the life of the pig to include those statements into the report?
Trustee, I've already answered that question, that I'm not making that request.
Okay, thank you.
And besides, that's not the reason that I stated. If you'll note, the most significant reason, the first, was I was never asked or allowed to appear before the committee to be questioned or to give my point of view. Whatever conclusions the committee came to, they did so without ever having heard my explanation.
So Trustee Aquino, if that's
May
part
I
of your
continue
point of
my
order, you
sentence?
may not. So if that is a part of your point of order, then I will not rule in favor of your point of order. That's already been made clear during public testimony. We were unable by law to interview you. There were 4 members of the permitted interaction group, and by law, we are not allowed to interact with anyone else.
Trustee-
As you recall, you don't have the floor. As you recall, we originally only had 3 members on the permitted interaction group so that maybe we could interview others. It was decided by this body to add another member to the permitted interaction group, thus making it 4. So without violating that sunshine law, we were not permitted to interview. On that same note, the statements that were provided to you in the complaint were written. They were not verbal.
Trustee Lee, may I respond?
Sure.
I don't dispute the fact that the law supports the structure of the PIG. That's not the concern that I have.
Then how could
I'm
we
raising
interview
the question
Trustee Aquino?
of something that's even more important to us as human beings, something to us as Hawaiians, and that is what is pono and right. So yes, maybe the law allows the committee to meet without interviewing me, but the fact that that is in law doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it pono. It doesn't make it just or fair. And that's what I'm appealing to now on the board. I'm appealing to your sense of fairness. I don't think any one of you would want to be subjected to a situation where you make statements that are at odds with the board, and then you are brought through an unfair process. And that's what
Trustee
I'm
Aquino,
appealing to.
I'm now going to rule you out of order, because nowhere in this report does it say that you made statements that were in contrary to the standing of the board. So that is an incorrect statement. Nowhere in this report does it say that.
You don't have to rule me out of order. You can simply say that we'll move on.
I believe I just did, Trustee Aquino.
I acknowledge that.
So we still have an amendment before us to remove, after reviewing the complaint against Trustee Aquino, the permitted interaction group finds that Trustee Aquino made misleading and untrue statements with regard to the CLA audit. Is there any other discussion on this amendment?
I guess I have one.
Go ahead, Trustee
Thank
Whitehead.
you, Mr. Chairman. And obviously, I'll say I agree with the sentiment of the original motion. I mean, I'm on that committee and I voted for it. I am thinking though, I think that the main point of this group was to find out whether or not Trustee Aquino had violated his duty of care and/or loyalty. Do you think, short of us declaring that, we need to state this part of it? Since we're not declaring either of those things, maybe it's not necessary to state that he made misleading or untrue statements with regard to the CLA audit.
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
That's not my decision to make, Trustee Whitehead. That's this body's decision to make.
Okay.
The body needs to decide whether they consider misleading and untrue statements a violation of duty of care and/or duty of loyalty.
Thank you, Mr.
Trustee
Chairman.
Lindsay.
Thank you. I had one problem with this report, Chair, in that in previous PIGs, we were asked and actually ordered not to make any statements at all, that we were just to transmit the report to the chair, and that nothing at all should be discussed, not even a statement like this. So I was surprised to see a statement, and here you make it in the last meeting. And I think Judge can verify that. In other PIGs, we never spoke a word on the first transaction. So, to have heard it in the last meeting, I was surprised. So maybe it would have been better to just transmit it and not made a statement.
So I don't know what that has to do with the amendment. So Trustee Lindsay, are you saying that we're not allowed to make a statement when we
Yeah.
provide, but you're incorrect?
Yeah, well, I'm telling you our past practices.
Okay, but
I'm not saying
the
whether you were
law
wrong
does
or not.
permit for when you present, that's why it's called presenting the report. When you present the report, the presenters of the report are allowed to present. They're allowed to say whatever's in the report, present anything they wish. The law does not permit for discussion on the report. So any questions or clarifying statements needed to be made or anything like that are not allowed to be made until the subsequent meeting. So the purpose of that is to allow a board to hear the presentation and take all that information and go back and digest it and decide what they want to do with it and then come back.
Well, I agree with the pig standing with Trustee Waihee, because we really didn't make any determined statement. We decided to just close it down.
Trustee Lee, what I want to do is engage a conversation with our attorney, our board counsel. We need to do that in executive session. So I would ask to table this discussion and then recuse ourselves into executive session to consult with our board counsel regarding legal issues pertaining to PIG and this report, if you agree.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Okay, so is there a second?
Second.
Okay, and this is purposely to go into executive session to consult with our board counsel on legal issues relating to this discussion we've been having.
Mind if I use the bathroom?
Okay, well, let's take a roll call vote. Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Ahuisa.
Aye.
Trustee Ahuna.
Yes.
Trustee Akaka.
I have to give
Aye.
it to office.
Trustee Aquino.
Abstain.
Trustee Lee.
Aye.
Trustee Carmen Hulu Lindsay.
I
Trustee Robert Lindsay.
Aye.
Trustee Whitehead.
Yes.
Chairperson Machado.
Yes.